Hi everybody and welcome to the first video in that new series, formerly English Hours. Now it's just me, Ola Kowalska, but I hope you don't mind. I'm still going to be sharing lots of value for ELT teachers, and I hope you'll find it inspiring. And if you ever have any questions or any feedback or ideas for videos that I could record and would be useful for you, please let me know, because there is nothing worse than me recording things that nobody wants to watch. So today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that I'm really sort of passionate about, but possibly in a negative sense, you know. So I wanted to talk to you about grammar a little bit. In order to put myself in the mood of talking about grammar, I brought my Grammar for English Language Teachers book, which I absolutely love and adore, and I think it's a great resource. But my thoughts on teaching grammar and grammar in general might be controversial to some. So let's dig into the topic. So as you've seen, the topic is, or the title of the video is, why is everybody so obsessed with grammar, both students and teachers? And I've had a massive, long thing and reflection about it, and I think I know the reason. So I wonder what you think. So if there is anything else that you think the reason is for people being obsessed with grammar, let me know in the comments below. But my opinion is that people like to be in control. People think that if they teach or if they learn certain rules of the language, they are in control of their linguistic progress. And while I totally understand and can relate, because this is how I used to think as a learner of English, of German, of Spanish, I don't think that actually directly leads to being better at using a language. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying grammar is not important, but I feel that there are still lots of misconceptions and lots of things that people are doing that are not leading really anywhere. So that's one thing. People like to be in control because the rules give them that sense of control. People are also perfectionists. So people love to feel that, oh, okay, so I understand what, say, past simple means. I understand how to build past simple, and I know how to pronounce different, endings of the verbs, right? Which is a tricky point, by the way. So when they've nailed it, they think that, okay, great. So I know the past tense in English. I can now rule the world. But can you? And that's the thing. What I've been observing as a teacher trainer, especially, but also, eventually sort of realized as a learner as well, is that the more I thought about correct grammar, the less fluent I was. And I don't know if you guys are aware of the 3 levels of language acquisition, and the last one of them being forgetting about the rules, dreaming in the language, thinking in the language, but without thinking of the rules. The rules are important for a while, and they are our means to getting to fluency, but they won't necessarily help us use the language. We will, thanks to the rules, thanks to the grammar, and people say that grammar is the skeleton of the language, we will be accurate, we will be correct, okay? But look at it from a different perspective. I'm a non-native speaker, and I speak English fluently, but does it mean that I do not make any mistakes when I speak? Of course not. I do make mistakes, but do I worry about it? Do I think about the grammar that I'm using when I'm speaking to you now? Not at all. I'm not. And so what's the alternative to thinking about grammar so obsessively? What's the alternative to teaching just grammar for the sake of teaching grammar? And I think the solution is quite simple. And I've posted about it recently. It's about thinking about results rather than the process. So when we think about the process of teaching, we would focus on, okay, so today I've got a lesson, I'm going to teach them past simple, past perfect, all the past narrative tenses, and they're going to nail it. But again, will they? What is this knowledge going to help them with? Is it just for the sake of knowing what a past perfect is? I don't think that's useful. So let me tell you a bit about my experience of learning German. Unfortunately, I learned too many rules of German grammar and I cannot speak a word of German. I can make simple basic sentences, but I cannot make a conversation because I know what perfect or preteritum are, or maybe I don't remember anymore, but I can't really speak. So that's the problem. So the alternative is thinking about the result, is thinking about how the grammar that I'm teaching to my student is going to help them in real life. So that's why I always say to my CELTA trainees and to any teachers or novice teachers or people who generally feel a bit overwhelmed by teaching grammar, especially because it is difficult, that they should be thinking about their aim in terms of, I'm going to send my students, those people, to the real world, and I want them to be able to use the language I've taught them in real life situations. So how do you do that? How do you approach that? And I would say that the first thing to do is to ask your students for input. Ask them, have a session, at least one, of a proper needs analysis. This could be a grammar test, there is nothing wrong with that, but then also a conversation. Ask them what they think they will use English for. So it's not like, oh, so what would you like to focus on? Oh, I would like to focus on my future tenses. Fine, let's focus on future tenses, but what are you going to use those future tenses for? Okay, so that's the shift in thinking. So I've got, so that's my idea of how you can make your teaching of grammar more communicative, because it is still important, but I wouldn't obsess about it. It also doesn't have to be perfect. I know it's controversial, but once I've realized that, I've completely got rid of my fear of speaking. So, and that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Ask your students for input, come up with a plan for them and think about the final result. And only then think about the process of how you're going to do it. It's going to make things much, much easier. So my practical tip, a thing that you can do literally now or today or this week, is rethink all your lesson plans or all your lessons that you've planned to teach and think whether you're teaching them a grammar point or whether you're teaching them something that they'll be able to do or say in real life, and how that grammar is going to help them do that. See how it works for you and let me know. I would like to find out if you agree with me, if that's something that you've never heard of before, or maybe it's something that you've been doing for a long time already. So please let me know in the comments. And since this is the first video, I would love for you to share it with your friends, colleagues, all the other English teachers who want to thrive in EFL, because that's my mission here. I want to help you thrive in EFL by helping you understand different concepts so you're not overwhelmed by teaching, planning, time management, but also if you want to progress in your career. So if you want to open a business, if you want to find a dream EFL job, if you want to change something, I'm here to help. So I hope you stay in touch. Please comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next week for the next video. Bye.